See every single one of those riders back there? Rats, every one of them. It's just after 7 AM on a Saturday morning. Mrs. Kiwi Rider and I have been up since 5:30. We left Dunedin at 7 o'clock in torrential rain. It's eased up slightly now. We're making the 2.5 hour trek south to Invercargill for a very important event. G'day riders, this is Mr. Kiwi Rider.
Mrs. Kiwi Rider.
We started in Dunedin about 7 AM, torrential rain. It sort of cleared up a bit, then got worse, then got a bit better. We're down here, it's pretty cold here in Invercargill, home of Bill Richardson, Transport World, Tim Shadbolt, Southern Institute of Technology, and Moira Flanagan, who thinks our bikes are just a little bit loud. We're here for the Rats Ride. That's why we got up at 5:30, left at 7 o'clock in the pouring rain, because this is important to us. Catch you on the road.
Morena whānau, kia ora, kia ora. Welcome, welcome. We're all being affected by suicide. You know, we're here to support that whānau, the person that's gone. For the weather, you know, it's just riding today is nothing compared to what the people have gone through. So just enjoy the day. The goal is we leave here, we finish out there with no injuries, no casualties.
It's going to be a pretty casual sort of slow sort of ride today, just with the road conditions, and also we've got a few new people just coming along and a few learners, so we just want to look after them.
And we ask that you bless our motorbikes and all the people that ride them. We also ask that you bless our whānau who are left behind in our homes waiting on us to come home and return safely.
Stands up in 5 minutes. Sweet.
The idea behind the Rats Rides is to literally create some noise around the subject of suicide awareness. The idea being that when people see the sheer number of motorcycles and hear the noise that it creates, they may ask, oh, what was that all about? What were all those motorcycles rumbling through town all about? The riders also pay to ride, so it helps create funding for different programs based around suicide and suicide prevention. Man, this is hearty southern weather, isn't it? My word. What's up, gentlemen?
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Hanging out with some really cool people. Look at this fella.
Awesome.
Car by the sheriff, Stacey Tahuia.
He smells better than me though.
Yeah, but he looks better than
Christian
me. Alleged
Dior.
only according to my wife.
Christian Dior.
Yeah. Christian Dior. It's good to hang out with the whānau. It's mean to see the brothers and sisters here. And yourself, brother? Looking very handsome as normal, as you yourself, hey?
Turns out Mrs. Kiwi Rider doesn't always make good decisions when it comes to wet weather gear.
I just realised I should have peed and put this on. Oh.
The rain was on again and off again right throughout the ride, but it certainly didn't stop these riders. There probably wasn't one of us that hadn't been touched in some way by suicide. And a lot of these men and women were riding because they have lost loved ones to suicide. So a little bit of rain wasn't going to stop any of us.
Slightly warmer here.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Very, very slightly. It's good. Halfway through and then just we're about to get nice and dry.
It wasn't going to be. Hey! There she is.
On the face of it, it would be easy to mistake Tribal Nations Motorcycle Club for what some in society or the media might refer to as a gang. If you look at them, they have the back patch, dressed in leather, loud motorcycles, but really that's where the similarity ends. The members of Tribal Nations live by an acronym of faith, and what that stands for, the F is family first, the A is for acceptance, so no matter what your religion, race, or your colour on the rainbow is, you are welcome. The I is for integrity, the T is for trust, and the H is for honesty. Now, from what I've seen in the months that we've been with Tribal Nations, every single member attempts to live up to those values. Tribal Nations is also constantly making inroads in the community and attempts to build relationships with different community groups. The Rats Ride culminates with a community event featuring entertainment and food stalls.
Let it go, it would still be a rubber band. That's resilience. That's like our lives. We've been stretched as far as we can go. Boom, we can bounce back.
See every single one of those riders back there? Rats, every one of them. RAT stands for Riders Against Teen Suicide. Nobody's here because they think they've found the solution to the epidemic of suicide here in New Zealand, but they're wanting to create some noise, some awareness, and raise some funds for sorely needed programs in our communities. Mrs. Kiwi Rider and I have had the privilege of attending a course that was funded by one of these Rats rides. So the work that's happening at things like this around the country is positive work, spreading a message, spreading an awareness that people who are suicidal are not just attention seekers. At the very least, they're sending a message that something is wrong, and at the very most, they're right on the edge of life and death. This is important, what we're doing here, what Tribal Nations and the Rats Riders are doing here. That's why we got up at 5:30 this morning, rode in torrential rain at 7 AM, 2.5 hours down here to send a loud message of suicide awareness for this country.